have a look. We've got a case study here, which is a really interesting case study. It's a penalty that was imposed in Victoria on a company, Toll Transport Proprietary Limited, and I think it's a great case study in terms of learning from what occurred on this case. So, in this case, Toll Transport was operating a vessel, and onto that vessel they were taking containers. And you can see in the top left-hand corner of this slide a picture of a loader and a trailer that is used to carry the containers onto the vessel. Now, if you imagine that that trailer, or the loader and the trailer, are going from left to right, and you'd see that the operator of the loader down in the bottom left-hand corner of that picture would not be able to see an awful lot when the crates are in front of him or her, but in this case him. And as they imagine that that trailer was coming from the jetty, being pushed up onto this vessel, so it goes up a ramp, and as it goes up over the ramp and onto the vessel, the visibility for the operator of the loader is very poor. Then once the loader gets up over the hump and gets onto the deck of the vessel, there is the risk that there will be a worker on the deck of that vessel and that they might be impacted by that trailer. And unfortunately that's exactly what happened, and we can see one of the workers there in the bottom left of this slide, who's unfortunately no longer with us. Now there was no malice in this. It was all completely unintended. But what happened was, Toll Transport identified that they had a hazard and that there was a risk of people being hurt, but they failed to put into place proper systems for managing that hazard and risk, and as a consequence someone was killed. The courts looked at that, identified that there was an offence had occurred, and considered what would be an appropriate penalty, and in this case $1 million fine was imposed, which is not the largest fine that we've seen for occupational health and safety matters, but it is a very large fine. And I think the lesson for us is, if we identify hazards and risks, it's really important that we address them and that we make sure that we put in place adequate systems for managing those hazards and risks.